Welcome to Kurtz Ersa here at SMT Hybrid Packaging. Delighted to be joined by Tobias van Rosen, who is the export manager for Europe. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Okay, so the theme here today is very much time for you, and I'm very pleased to say that Kurtz Ersa has made time to tell us about some of their latest products. And I think we'll start with a much increased hybrid version of your selective soldering system. Can you tell us a bit about that, Tobias?
Well, first of all, it's true, our slogan is time for you. The reason for that is at the SMT exhibition we really want to take time for our customers to hear what their needs are. But of course, for sure, what we talk about are our machines, and one of the highlights is our VersaFlow 4 XL machine. When we talk about selective soldering, some time ago it was always a little bit a choice between, do I take a machine which does high volume but is less flexible, or do I have more flexibility but it's a little bit slower machine? And with our XL machine we are achieving actually a high mix together with high speed. The flexibility of this machine is huge, where we can do a lot of small boards or relatively big boards or even huge boards up to 1.2 meter. With up to 6 individual moving pots, 2 or 4 individual moving fluxer heads, so possibilities are pretty big.
Right, that's amazing. That must. So that all works on one platform, or you can reconfigure it to 4 small platforms, or how does it work?
Well, we're talking about one machine which you can actually, a little bit like a Lego box. You put it together to the needs of that you have in your production. It's also upgradable later on in the field. So possibilities are huge, big, and yeah, depending on how you want to organize. You can have several boxes, of course. You can have one long box, and everything works on one platform. That's the important part. That's, let's say, the more time for you, Industry 4.0 and more automation, is that everything works on one platform and it works on one language. And because we're talking about a big amount of data, we're talking about a huge amount of programs, we're talking about a lot of parameters that go inside, which we have to automate. We can't expect our customers to immediately understand all the different parameters they have to set. So we will take them by the hand, and there's a lot of automation in that. When you work with cut files, with ODB++, the machine will understand how big a component is, how much mass is in the board, how long contact time we need for a good solder joint, and also will organize this between the different boxes or the one long line that you have. So again, the degree of automation is rising spectacularly.
Right, yeah, of course. And talking about the Industry 4.0, all of your equipment is the Hermes standard compliant and also CFX compliant.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And the communication, let's say, between the different machines in the line, which we can have on this Hermes. So we will talk to the machine before us, we will talk to the machine behind us, Hermes standard or any other. Yeah.
Okay. So, but coming down to the actual machine level, you're doing a lot more with automation and artificial intelligence or making more intelligent decisions out of big data sets. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, first of all, when you have several platforms or several machines on one platform, for example, a customer has a factory in Mexico, one in Germany, and one in China, there's a huge amount of data that they're gathering from those, and how to make decisions based on that. How do you increase your quality? How do we make a better solder joint on this or that component? There's a huge amount of data coming to the decision-making team or decision-making engineer, and how to work with that. The machine language that we are is a standard thing. It's a SQL, simplified query language, and this allows us to really easily extract the information so then the decision can be made. Of course, we can take it one step further as well. There are own decision-making processes which you can implement. Just like most people know from the combination between printer and SPI, where you have a closed-loop feedback, also this can be integrated in selective soldering, where we can have camera systems which check the quality of the solder joint, which can see, okay, this is a one-off fault, which can happen based on an oxidized component or something which is repeatedly coming back, taking own closed-loop action, which takes away a lot of the let's say, own manual intervention of the operator.
Yeah, I mean, is it really easy to make the same decisions, generic decisions on how to deal with a manufacturing setup for a machine working in Germany where it might be winter time versus a machine working in Asia where you've got high humidity and different conditions?
Of course, that's true. There can be a lot of different circumstances, not only the climate, but let's assume that a customer gets the climate inside of the production hall under control. But for example, how components are handled, how an operator prepares things, how they do different things. For sure, this is all data which you get down into the database, and of course the filter needs to be correct. And you can see a trend. Of course you can also see a trend that on a certain machine maybe something is always a little bit off. Then you have to want to find this, you want to have this information extracted. So it is helping you to make a decision based on all machines, but also in the other way around to see, okay, maybe this machine or in this factory something is wrong.
Yeah, so really you're using the power of AI to distill down the known information to a point where an engineer can make an informed decision.
Yeah, exactly. It's of course, if we look into the far future, maybe these things can be automated, but that's still not there yet, of course. We are now at, let's say, still at the start of artificial intelligence, so still there needs to be a human decision made, yeah.
Of course, okay. So the other area that's, I think, very useful for a company like Kurtz Ersa is augmented or AR, augmented reality, vision goggles, etc., for field maintenance, this type of thing. Is this something that you're working with?
Yeah, we do. It is not something that is, let's say, implemented as a standard everywhere available for every customer, because we are still balancing a little bit on this, the privacy or what goes on or the connection and so on. What we have in place at this very moment is that our own service engineers, when visiting a customer and with permission of the customer, of course, can use augmented reality, have Google glasses or whatever platform with them, and have the support from the home team. I mean, a team of 4 people know more than one service engineer out there, and it makes the process much faster. Of course, you can do everything with taking a picture and WhatsApp or email, but having a Google Glass that other people see what you see, they have a live connection, will make you solve problems or do trainings or do software upgrades or all these kind of things much faster, because let's face it, a machine gets more complicated. A machine nowadays is something else than, let's say, 10, 15 years ago, and it is most of the time a team support.
Well, Tobias, it's great to catch up and see the new stuff that's happening at Kurtz Ersa. Very exciting, and and thank you for making time for us.
Thank you for joining us.